Heidi ho there, neighbor. This is Chef Naomi with Food That Matters. And why it matters so much is because you want to learn something new that's going to be healthy and delicious and good for your gut. Just to make a long story short, my son passed away 17 years ago with celiac disease. This is an autoimmune disorder that I found out that I also had, and when my doctor said I needed to go gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, vinegar-free, soy-free, yeast-free, peanut-free, corn-free, what else is left? My goodness, it was whole food, plant-based, nuts and seeds and fruits and veg. I went back to school to study and become a certified healing food specialist. And from there, I've been helping individuals heal their own family and their self. Today, we're going to show you the Hail to Kale Caesar salad. It is so delicious just on its own. Or we can show you some different toppings to add, like our fermented house kraut, and even some slow-cooked Peruvian beans and fresh avocado for those good fats. The next thing we'll show is the stuffed marinated mushrooms. They are so delicious and so quick and easy. For our last item today, it'll be the brownie scoops. This is so perfect for the end of your meal. Just a sweet little bite that you'll want to stick in the freezer and have them to grab out of there any time of day. So stay tuned and we'll get started. So for the Hail to Kale Caesar salad, we first have to start with the dressing. And today we have lemon juice. It's a really simple recipe. It's just 1 cup, 1 cup, 1 cup, 1 cup. It's how easy could that get, right? So we're gonna start out with our lemon juice. And we're going to use the food processor today, and you're welcome to use a Vitamix because we put garlic in this, but just before we started here, I blended the garlic with the water. So I'm not going to add those two ingredients. I'm just going to add the water and garlic already blended so that there's no chunky little bits of fresh garlic, because you know how that would kind of not be so great. And then we're going to use the nutritional yeast. And the nutritional yeast is super high in all those B vitamins that you need. Great B12, and it's a protein too. So this is our Bragg's liquid aminos. If you've never heard of Bragg's liquid aminos, this is a soy sauce replacement that's fermented, and so it's better for your gut. And here is our apple cider vinegar. So at this point, we're gonna add the tahini, and that's 3 cups of tahini, but we're not gonna do that yet. I like to do it right at the end because that's just does it the best way. So we're gonna incorporate all these ingredients, okay? You ready? There you go. That's all I need to do right there, but now I'm gonna add my tahini. So use a knife to just clean this 3 cups of tahini out for you, and then we're going to blend again until you can see how it just slows down and is incorporated. And that's all it is to make our delicious Caesar salad dressing. At this point, we're going to massage our kale. When I said a salad, did you think about a lettuce? Well, you know, we just don't use too much lettuce in this restaurant. We like to use kale, and how we do this kale is we strip it, and you strip it off of the stem, and you can do it 2 different ways. You can grab a hold of it and just pull it right off the stem, and so you don't have this big chunk to bite into. And then you just break it into small little pieces. If you want to cut it at this point, you're welcome to use a knife to cut, but we like to use our hands so that the essence of our body gets into our food. We feel like our thoughts and the love that we think about while we're preparing the food goes into that delicious meal and makes it so much better. Let's put some gloves on, and I'm gonna massage this kale. And as we massage it with a glove on, and if you're making this at home, of course, you don't have to put a glove on yourself. Again, you're getting the essence in there. But just really massage it, and that breaks it down to be very tender and very delicious. So I will plate this onto a nice, beautiful white dish so it really accentuates the color. So you could serve it just like this, plain, or you could top it with some lentils, or we put our slow-cooked Peruvian beans, and then we also top it with our house fermented sauerkraut that we make. Let me get that kraut. Here we go. So we make our kraut with our red cabbage, and it is so good for your digestion. And we're gonna show you how we plate this and make it so pretty. Some people say, oh, I don't want any kraut, or I'll have it on the side. And then once they have it, I taste it, it's like, oh my goodness, how delicious that is. And then we're gonna slice an avocado and just smash it down there. This is our cashew ranch dressing. You might wanna see that recipe too. And there you go. We serve it just like this. So now, let's make these stuffed marinated mushrooms. What we're gonna do is start out with some baby portobello. I've de-stemmed most of these already, but I'm gonna show you. You just kind of bend it over once here, and then back here, so it comes completely out and it's separated. So then you're going to do it again, do all of these mushrooms just like this. So there you have the stems separated from the caps. And what we're gonna use is this same Bragg's liquid aminos and some lemon juice. And that's half and half. So let's say a half a cup of, it really depends on how much mushrooms you're gonna be marinating. So we're gonna put those in there, and this is about 1 cup Bragg's and 1 cup lemon juice. And the way that we can keep those down in there is you can use a leaf to keep them down submerged under the marinade. And I'm gonna get a cup, maybe a little glass cup will work, to just be sure that those stay underneath. And you can just sit these in your refrigerator, or they can sit out on the counter overnight. And so that's the part you have to do 1 or 2 days before your party or before you're gonna serve these. So we're marinating the mushrooms, right? So now let's pretend that those mushrooms have already been marinated. So this is the stems, and here are the caps. So we're gonna set those aside, and we're gonna put all of this in the food processor, all the stems, because we're gonna fill those caps. Okay, let's start out with this garlic. We love the fresh garlic. And again, we're gonna use the food processor. Process the garlic on its own first. And then some cilantro. We're gonna add that to the garlic and process that all up nicely. And this is about one bunch of cilantro. You can never have too much cilantro in my life. I love it. So you've incorporated that. Now I'm gonna add the protein, walnuts. And we soak our walnuts, and then sprout them, and then dry them in the dehydrator. The reason why we do this is there's an enzyme inside nuts that need to wake up and be bioavailable so your body can receive all the nutrition that it has available for you. So we've already in advance soaked these, sprouted, dried them in the dehydrator, and they're ready to cook. And they're so, not cook, but use. You can hear that crunch. So lovely. Have you had the walnuts and they might have a little fuzzy kind of a taste or maybe scratch your throat a little? Well, once you soak and sprout walnuts, that goes away. So it's much easier to digest. So we're gonna add all of those, like 3 cups of walnuts in the food processor with the garlic and the cilantro. And this is gonna make a good portion of it. But now we're gonna add our mushrooms, the stems that have already been marinated. I think it looks good. There you go. You can see that it's not completely incorporated, so we would need to just stir it up a little bit, clean down the sides of the food processor. And you can use any kind of a flat object, not normally a knife, but whatever works. So let's put it one more time. And there you go. Wow, the aroma of this garlic is so to live for. I have to try it out to make sure it's gonna be okay for you. It's perfect. So it has that salty flavor from the Bragg's liquid aminos. So that's why you don't need to add any salt. You know, every vegetable on the planet already has sodium included. So once you don't add so much salt to your food, you can really tell a difference, how delicious it can be. So what I'm gonna do is plate it, and how we do this is, let's see here. I'm gonna use this cutting board and a collard green, and I like to just hold it on the top. And this collard green was a little pitiful because it had some holes in it, so it might not be able to be used for a wrap. But we could just take the stem right off, and you could use 2 or 3 collard greens depending on how big of a platter you're gonna be serving these with. So I'm gonna roll this up real tight, just like a cigar. And then never pick the tip of your knife up. Just leave the tip down and just lift up the back and slice as thin as possible. This is called chiffonade, or you can just ribbonize it because it looks like little ribbons. And you can eat this too because the drippings and the dressing of the marinade is very tasty. So here is our bed of Easter grass for a little bit of a color contrast also. Here are our mushrooms that we've marinated for 2 days. And we're gonna just pick out the prettiest ones. At this time, you know, depending on how many guests, if it's just for you and your spouse, or if you're going to serve this as an appetizer for many, it's up to you. Everyone comes to the plate for these. And we have a small little mini scoop. So far, this is what it looks like. And now we're gonna top them with the stuffing. And just makes a little crown, a little mound. And there are your stuffed marinated mushrooms. Sweets for last. And these sweets do not have any sugar. It's just gonna use these medjool dates. They are so scrumptious and sweet enough. You don't need anything different than that. So we're gonna add all of these. It's about 25 dates in this food processor. And then again, our soaked and sprouted and dehydrated walnuts. And if you're not able to do that at home, it's fine. If you do want to soak these and sprout them, you're welcome to put them in water and just soak them overnight. And then the next day, put your oven on the lowest heat and dry them until they're crunchy. So we're going to put 3 cups of walnuts. And I'm going to process that first on its own to get those all bound together before we add any liquid. I like to shake it up a little bit. Now, our cacao powder. So you might think cocoa powder. No, we're going to use cacao powder. So this is a raw ingredient. It has not been alkalized and it doesn't have anything added. It's just pure organic cacao powder. I'm going to add 2/3 of a cup of that. And cacao has less caffeine. It has a natural stimulant, but not caffeine like cocoa. Now we're going to add real vanilla. A little vanilla. And I just have a little bit of water on the side here to see if we need it to get everything to stick together. So let's keep on going on this, incorporating. And I like to move it around a little bit until we're going to add a little water to it. And there you go. Perfectly incorporated, and it's nice and sticky. See how it just sticks together? And so now we're going to use a scoop, just this little small ice cream scoop, because this is the perfect amount, and you can keep these, you can scoop them out in advance, and you can have them just ready to have a guest come over and have them with you, enjoy them, or you can scoop them and then refrigerate them or freeze them actually. Quite a few, you can see, and it lasts a long time. So that is as simple as it gets. A perfect little bite. Wow. Soft and chewy. So delicious. There's our brownie scoops. So we've already shown you our original Hail to Kale Caesar salad. So now we're going to go one step further and show you a couple other options to top your salad with. We're going to do the beans and greens. So we start with our Hail to Kale salad, and we're going to add on top our slow-cooked Peruvian beans. This is such a great additive and a lot of good protein, fiber, and everything else you want in your diet. So let's start out with, we use an Instapot, and I'm not going to show you and tell you all of the secret ingredients in here. That'll be another show. But we are going to add our slow-cooked Peruvian beans right on top here. And then we add our house fermented kraut. This is so good for your digestion. It's just over the top. The probiotic that are in our house fermented kraut. And then we're going to add another little slice of avocado, and I want to show you how easy it is to Slice up your avocado right in the peeling here. Don't go all the way through, just go to the skin. And then I like to just use a flat blade, and you go around just like this, and it comes right out of that shell. And then when you turn it over, you can just smash it on there to fan it out. And then again, here's our cashew ranch dressing, and we're just going to do a light drizzle. So you do realize that everything we make here is gluten-free, sugar-free, and dairy-free. So that is the kale to kale. Here's the beans and greens. And now let's go one step further and make a wrap with that same exact salad. We're gonna add that kale Caesar salad into our collard green. And you could put a plant cheese as a spread on your collard green, or you can have it just straight up like this, because this dressing is very delicious and liquidy already. And then these are a plant burger, I call it. It's my gourmet burger, and we dehydrate these patties. So this is great camping food, or this is just an everyday food that doesn't have to be refrigerated because it's dried. So this is gonna be our no pigs in the blanket. And this will be our replacement meat. And we can just crumble it up or break it into big chunks like this. So we're gonna add it like that. And then we'll add some beans inside there. Right on top of that. Again, we can add some different flavors. You can put some hot sauce, a little chimichurri if you want, if you like it a little spicy, or spicy kimchi. But we can just put our house fermented kraut. Again and again, it never fails us to taste delicious. So here's our avocado that we're gonna add. Let's add a little more avocado. And then I'll show you how we're gonna wrap this baby up. And if you just want a half avocado, that's fine. If you want a full whole half, that's great too. It's up to you. What do you want to do, and what do you have available in your house to share? And again, cashew ranch dressing. And now I'm gonna roll this baby right up into this blanket. And that's what we call our no pigs in the blanket. So we're gonna wrap it up and cut it on the diagonal. And serve it just like this. So you can see all those colors. Do you think your guests would like this?